All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andrew Harper. I'm the Manager of Employer Relations and the Career and Professional Development Office here at St. Edward's University. We are really excited today to have Rochelle Duvall from Target. She's coming from us from Dallas. And so she's going to talk about career opportunities that are available today. She's going to go through a couple of slides and talk about Target as well as those opportunities. And then you will have the opportunity either through the chat or Q&A functions on your screen to submit questions. If possible, try to submit those to all participants because I will come back at the end and I will moderate those questions. So please feel free to let us know what you want to know so that we can get your questions answered and make sure that you have all the information that you need. So I'll go ahead and turn it over.
Well, hello. Great to talk with you guys today. Like you mentioned, obviously I'm here with Target. So hopefully everyone can see the presentation as well as myself. So just a little bit of background about who I am so you can better understand what I'm talking about. So I am a recruiter here with Target. As you guys are probably very familiar with the brand, maybe not so familiar with career opportunities. Today I'm going to be focusing on our field and store leadership opportunities. So we're going to go through a few different slides specifically about those opportunities. And then, of course, I'll also share my contact information just in case we're unable to answer some questions today. So, as you guys are probably very familiar with the Target brand, this slide just kind of shows you the multitude of stores that we have in our company. We have over 1,800 stores, and we're constantly evaluating our store plans and prototypes. I was actually just mentioning to Andrew about the one we're opening here in Austin. Specifically, it's going to be a flexible format store next to the UT campus. So it's a little bit smaller of a footprint of store, and then the merchandise that we have in there is going to be localized and specialized to the market. So as you guys can see in this slide, it just kind of shows you all of the different prototypes that we have in our stores, which of course, we have a ton of stores, which is going to lead to a lot of career opportunities and potential moves within the company, kind of just depending on where you're wanting to be long term. So what I'm going to be specifically talking about is our executive team leader position. So that's our store leadership role. It is an entry level as well as professional or experienced position, kind of just depending on your skill sets that you're going to bring into the company. We do really careful placement. So if you have a little bit of leadership but need some more development, we can place you into this position. Or maybe if you've been in the retail or have been a leader or manager for multiple years, this is also a great first assignment for someone who wants to move up through the company. A little bit of background about myself. I actually started off at Target as an intern, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes, and then I moved over into this executive team leader role. So in this next slide, this just kind of shows you all of the different work centers or departments that we have within our store that you as an executive team leader would own. We have anywhere from human resources, that's the leader within our store that deals with the training and onboarding as well as talent and compliance regulations. Everyone within the store has to have their own HR hat on because they're leading large groups of team members, but the HR specifically owns that process as kind of that right-hand person to the general store manager. We also have someone over the loss prevention side of the store. So maybe those criminal justice majors, management majors, really this person is the one that deals with the safety and security of our team and our guests. We also have a logistics executive within each one of our stores. This is somebody that runs the replenishment process, sometimes even like the inventory within our store. If you're in one of those big Super Target stores, we also have someone dedicated strictly to food. So really within this area, we're looking for people who are really passionate about food, especially since a lot of our stores are going through remodels. Same thing with our sales floor executives. We have people who are maybe over specifically just our clothing or soft lines departments, or over the rest of the sales floor that would basically encompass anything outside of the clothing or outside of the food. And then for our Target stores, maybe your local Target store, you've noticed this, but a lot of our stores are actually going through an apparel remodel, bringing in mannequins and new fixtures in order to help inspire our consumers or our guests, and of course it does drive sales. Apparel is one of our top categories for our company. It does really well for us, so we've been expanding into this market to get more of the market share. And we also have someone that runs the guest experience. So that's basically the customer side of the business. We call our customers here at Target guests because we want them to feel as at home as they are in our stores as they would if they were actually at their home. So the guest experience executive, they deal with the front end team and manage that part of the business as well as the customer service throughout the building. So I remember when I was first thinking about a career in retail, a lot of times people assume, what would you do? Would you just stock shelves or would you just cashier? And those of you guys that worked in retail, yes, you definitely have seen that side of the business, but there's a lot more than that. What we're really looking for is leaders, business owners. You're going to be leading this part of the store, and especially in our big CityTarget stores, this is a lot of sales volume, and especially coming straight out of college, a lot of jobs or companies don't necessarily offer you that immediate management role, and that's one of the things I loved about Target is straight out of college, even though it's very nerve-wracking, I got my first assignment. My first assignment was a guest experience role, and I led around 40 team members straight out of college, a little bit of limited leadership experience, but Target really sees those leadership skills within you, and they help teach and train and develop you within that skill set. So just try to keep an open mind. Those of you guys who maybe have worked in a retail service industry, you know how fast-paced it can be, but we really try to have fun at Target because, you know, when you're at work, especially full-time, there's a lot of times where you're going to be with that family, you know, or at work more times than your actual family. So we want to make sure that it has a really great culture as well. So this next slide just kind of shows you a day in the life. So a lot of times people ask, what's a typical day look like? Well, those of you guys who've worked in retail, you know there's no typical day. But this just kind of shows you like what that schedule may look like. So you're a leader. You're a leader within the building. That means that you're going to be providing that direct leadership. You're going to be talking side by side with the team. We call our managers leaders because we really want you guys working side by side with the team, not just directing people. We want to make sure that we're sending a really positive message. The schedule, you know, those of you guys that worked in retail, you know, nights and weekends are going to be the peak times for us. We really do try to create a lot of work-life balance. So I try to be really transparent with the schedule, especially for a candidate that's interested in Target. I'm not going to sell you on a Monday through Friday 9 to 5 because that's not what you're going to be working in. It's not fair to sell you on that if that's not what it's going to look like whenever you first start with us. I don't want anyone coming back and saying, Rochelle, you told me the wrong thing. So the really great thing is Target tries to create that work-life balance. So as you see here, you're working every other weekend, which is really nice. I know a lot of times when I talk to other managers that work in retail, they don't get the every other weekend, which can be really tough, especially since some of your friends or family may be off on weekends and they're wanting to do something with you. So that's why we've created that rotation. Because you rotate, you also get a day off during the week. So this is really nice, something that I definitely love with our schedule. So you can plan any maybe doctor's appointments, health care needs that you need, or maybe you just want to relax and go to the movies. You know, this is the time of the day where no one's going to be there, so you can kind of just enjoy your day off. You know, like I mentioned, retail is really busy during nights and weekends, but as you see in this schedule, this leader is closing one night a week, and that's pretty much what we do for all of our leadership team in order to make sure it's fair and consistent, so there's not just one person closing every single night. You'll have your closing night every week. The really great thing, too, is that we're really flexible with work-life balance. So maybe if you have a family function or something like that going on the weekend you're supposed to work, sometimes you're able to swap with a peer or work with your store leader to get that day off. You do work about 50 hours during the work week. That's also something we like to be very transparent with. It is a salary-based role, so I know a lot of times with salary roles, they say, oh, you only have to work 40, and then you end up working a lot more than that. So with our positions, we schedule you 50-hour days, but we really empower you to be a business owner. So if there's a day, maybe on Friday, it's your weekend off, it's 4 o'clock, your work center is in amazing shape, the store is running very smoothly, you can talk with your store leader and you're going to be fine to leave at 4 o'clock. So just know that there is a lot of empowerment. Really, it's just about making smart decisions and making sure that your work center, team, and store is taken care of. Red and khaki, so I don't know if you guys can tell I'm wearing a red shirt today, but basically that is our uniform or attire for our Target team in stores. Now sometimes we do run extra promotions, so like sometimes we have a BOGO event for our jeans. or sometimes around fourth quarter, the peak time of the year, our team does wear jeans. So there are some times where it's a red shirt and then jeans, but the majority of the time it's red and khaki, and you can get really fun and creative with that if you don't like wearing the same thing over and over again. I know for me, it just makes it really easy every day. So next we'll talk about the management and training program. So pretty industry standard. I feel like nowadays a lot of companies have a training program for their managers. The really great thing about Target is it's really intensive, but it's not super lengthy. So what we do is you go through a 6-week business college training. I know you're going to graduate college and then we're asking you to go back to this Target college, but it's just a 6-week long training program really to allow you the opportunity to learn a little bit more about Target. If you've worked in retail or service industry, there are going to be some differences. So we want to make sure you understand that. You'll also get paired up with a certified trainer. So this is somebody that holds the position that you're going into. So you're going to be training right by them. So you're going to learn about roles, routines, and responsibilities. Even after that training program's done, you guys know that your training's probably not going to be completely done by that point. You're still going to have a learning curve whenever you start with any company. You know, there's always going to be certain situations that come up. So you can use your network. You can go back to your trainer, ask them questions, as well as whenever you get into your actual store and have your store assignment, you may have someone within your building that currently held the position that you're in today. Or, of course, the store manager or the general manager is your direct boss, so of course they can help assist you along with our other district leadership team. So we don't expect you or just throw you into it and assume you're going to know what you're doing. We do provide you guys with a lot of training, which is something that's really nice. Making sure that you have that quality training is really important. For those of you guys who haven't gotten training before and in the past with some sort of job, you know how frustrating that can be, not really understanding what you're doing. So at Target, we try to avoid that. So next, if it will load here, is going to be about internships. I'm not quite sure if it's not loading for you guys or not. Okay, there it goes. So internship. So our internship program is done over the summer time frame. So kind of just depending on what you're wanting to do long term, you can do an internship where you're shadowing that position. So for me specifically, I recruit for our store management internship program. We call it a store executive intern, but basically it's a store leadership or store management internship program. We do it over the summer time frame when you're going from your junior into your senior year. So for this summer, we have filled our internship spots, but we're all, like me, I'm always recruiting. I'm always trying to catch those people. So maybe if you're a little bit further out, maybe you're a freshman or sophomore, definitely reach out to me if this is something you're interested in, because I would love to save your information. You know, I'm always recruiting for those future needs. But this is how I started off with Target. I did the 10-week-long internship program, really got an opportunity to learn a lot about the company. So Target's internship program isn't like your typical internship when you think about just like walking around and shadowing people. You do spend a little bit of time, you know, during the first half of the program doing that, but we actually empower our interns to make business decisions and actually lead the team very early on. So about the first half of the program, the first 5 weeks, you actually get a chance to shadow all of the different leaders. So all of those executive team leader positions I talked about earlier with human resources, logistics, assets protection, food, like you get that kind of opportunity to learn about it all. And then you actually, near the last half of the program is actually whenever you kind of try on the position. Now we know that there's probably going to be lots of situations that you're not quite sure how to handle, or maybe scenarios or conversations that you need help with, but this really allows you the opportunity to learn more about the company, really dig into the company culture, which of course I'm biased, since I work for Target, but something that I definitely love. And then it really gives you to that realistic preview. So at the end of the program, if you did a really amazing job, as well as if you enjoyed it, we actually do a full-time offer. So as an intern, that was my favorite part of the internship program, was knowing I had a full-time offer and didn't have to worry about trying to do a job search whenever I graduated. Like I already had that lined up with Target. But also too, with that realistic preview, whenever they offered me, I didn't have any doubt in my mind about like what I would be doing, because I wasn't just shadowing, I was actually doing the position. And then you definitely learn a ton about not just retail, but like how to run a business. Those of you guys who are entrepreneurs, like this is kind of a really great opportunity for you to learn a little bit more about how to lead and how to develop that business. So with career development, you know, I told you guys a little bit about my career development, but there is a ton of career opportunities. So really just kind of depending on what you're interested or passionate about. I went to school for merchandising and then came into the leadership side of Target, really fell in love with that culture and the team part of the business, and then moved and found my way into HR, and then now recruiting. And I had zero experience in HR or recruiting. I remember when they first asked me about HR, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know much about it. So they're really great about developing you for the next step, depending on what you're interested or passionate about. And then also too, there are over like 120 different career paths, probably more than that, but that's what they say. There's over 120. So there's anywhere from our store leadership opportunities to distribution centers. So if you're really interested about the supply chain process, we have our distribution centers. We actually have 3 here in Texas. So if you're wanting to stay here local, that could be a great opportunity for you. Maybe you're looking for something more on the corporate side. You're wanting to be in marketing, or maybe you're an accounting or finance major. Our headquarters is in Minneapolis, Minnesota, so obviously you do have to be open to that location, but there are tons of career opportunities. And just because you start off in one area doesn't mean that's where you're going to stay. There's definitely a lot of career advancement, so a lot of times we'll see somebody come from stores up to headquarters, headquarters to distribution, distribution to stores, stores to distribution. Like, there's a lot of different ways that you can move throughout Target. So maybe you find yourself really interested in that leadership side. This just kind of shows you a very, I'm going to emphasize, a very narrowed in possible career pathing. So this just kind of shows you, I know a lot of times people ask me, well, if I was to do the internship and then move over to the assistant manager role, what would I do after that? And I always try to tell them, well, it really just depends on what you want to do and where your passions lie. But this just kind of shows you where some of our leadership team goes. So some of them, you know, they do the assistant manager role, then they move up to a general manager, what we call a store manager. And then from there, you can continue to move up to district manager, group leadership team, or maybe you are more interested in a certain side of the business, a certain pyramid. So maybe you're interested in HR or loss prevention, or maybe even like property management. So as you guys see here below on this slide, there's what we call business partners that basically support multiple stores in a market or a district in this certain field of our business. So an HR business partner, they're the ones who are working side by side with the district leadership team, as well as our executive leaders within our store that own the HR. So again, just to emphasize, this is a very narrowed in possible career pathing opportunity. Like, my recruiting position's not even on here, and I moved from an executive team leader to this campus recruiting role. So there is tons of opportunity, kind of just, again, like I mentioned, depending on what you're interested in or where your passions lie. So hopefully all of that information made sense. Before I give it back to Andrew for questions, a few other things I wanted to mention. So, you know, like I mentioned earlier, the full-time opportunities that would be available for seniors or anyone who's about to graduate, or maybe who has already graduated, since that is one of our entry-level roles, you get an assignment based on, you know, how much experience you have within that position. For internship programs, that would be when you're going from your junior into senior year. Now, we have already filled this summer internship program, so we're going to be looking to fill next summer. Already thinking ahead, I know. And then those of you guys who are freshman or sophomore, maybe just wanted some additional information, we are holding a sophomore-specific event here in Dallas to talk a little bit more about those leadership opportunities. So if that's definitely something that you're interested in as well, you can always feel free to reach out to me for more information. I can send over that flyer with that information as well. And yeah, so now we'll open it for questions if there are any. Oh, Andrew, if you're talking, I can't hear you. I think you're on mute.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem.
For students that are interested in applying for the internship program in the summer of 2018, when can they apply now, or do they need to wait to a certain time frame before they can see that application?
Yeah, that's a good question. So for those students who are interested, send me your application today. The official position won't get posted until the beginning of the fall semester, so around like August timeframe is whenever we open up those positions and officially start recruiting. But like I said, we're always one step ahead, so if you're interested or just wanting some more information, send me your resume and I'll save it. And then definitely in the fall, if you're still kind of thinking about it, definitely in the fall is when all of our summer 2018 internships will be posted for stores, headquarters, as well as distribution.
And for the store internships,
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming those are available in most major metropolitan areas.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so, and we get you connected. So I own the majority of Texas, and then I also work very closely with my peer who owns Houston and South. But basically, yeah, so anywhere really that you're wanting to be at or wanting to do your summer internship at, we can get you placed there. Anywhere from Austin, DFW, San Antonio, Houston, or even outside of the state, we can share your information with that recruiter as well.
And typically, like for Austin, for example, how many interns are typically selected?
Yeah, so it varies depending on the area. So we'll have anywhere from 2 to maybe 6 interns in each city, but we like to go based on the candidate's location preference. So every year is a little bit different. Sometimes we have more interns in San Antonio than we do Dallas because maybe those students are originally from that market. But yeah, generally speaking, anywhere from 2 to maybe 6 interns in each metro area every summer.
Okay. And I'm assuming with the numbers being just a handful of students getting selected, that it's fairly competitive.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously we're screening for future opportunities, so we definitely look for a lot of those leadership skills, and not saying at all that you have to be a current assistant manager at some sort of retail setting, but definitely leadership maybe with your current position, or if you're working, or maybe even student organizations. Those are heavily what we look for, and then of course the future, like, opportunities, so those candidates who would really be interested in store leadership full time. So we try to be really selective because we want to make sure that we're saving the spots for people who are wanting to grow with the company.
Okay. And for the management trainee program, is that open on a year-round basis?
Yep, so we recruit year-round for it, depending on what market you're interested in and also depending on your experience. We're going to have different positions available. So like I mentioned earlier, we're going through a lot of remodels where we're focusing heavily on like our sales floor, the apparel side of the business, as well as groceries. So for those candidates who have a lot of experience in that, whether it's anywhere from visual merchandising to being a food expert, there's going to be some opportunities for those. But yeah, we recruit year-round for those positions, and then the availability or opportunity just kind of depends on the candidate's experience as well as the market that they're interested in.
And for students who might be considering similar options at maybe competitors, what makes Target stand out as a premier and preferable employer?
Yeah, so obviously I'm going to be biased, and I've been with Target since I graduated college, so it's been about 7 years. But I did work at another retailer while I was in college. I think really it boils down to the company culture as well as the development. So the company culture was something that kind of drew me to Target. I kind of started stalking them when I was in college and going to different career fairs and information sessions or events like these, and was just talking to different representatives, asking them why they really enjoyed the company, and just found a lot of love for the culture of the company, and then around development. So of course that was something that I found through my career with Target, but even talking to people, asking them about the different roles that they've had, I found that Target really values spending time developing their team, and I've definitely seen that since I've been with Target. I mean, I wouldn't be with a company that I wasn't developing in, and like I mentioned before, my initial degree and the experience that I had wasn't related to a lot of the positions that I had, but I really had a love and passion for that side of the business, and they really helped develop the skill sets that I didn't have for that. So definitely, I think the thing that kind of makes Target stand out is around their culture and then their development specifically for me personally.
And after someone begins their career at Target, I'm assuming there's a period of time in which they can begin exploring those other opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
How flexible is it for someone who's worked in their position for maybe 2 years to begin considering not only other types of opportunities, but maybe other locations?
Yeah, no, definitely very possible. So again, it just boils down to where your career aspirations lie. And definitely for transfers, I mean, it's really great with Target being such a big company. A lot of times, maybe you have a spouse or a personal matter where you're having to move across the country. And with Target, it's really great because you can kind of alleviate any of the stress or concerns about maybe having to put in for a transfer. It all just boils down to your performance. So if you are performing within your role, and if maybe you're wanting to promote within the next level or go into a next level position, and you have the support from your leader, then that's really what you need. And then obviously there does have to be a position available. So for example, if you're moving to maybe another state, there does have to be a position available within that state. But yeah, as long as your performance is meeting the expectations and you have those open-end conversations with your leader, they're definitely going to support that move or that transfer. And, you know, regarding performance, I mean, Target is a performance-based company. So in regards to promoting, everything is related down to your performance. So not related to tenure. If you're maybe trying to promote and move up to a store manager position, if you're the best person for that fit or for that role, then you're going to get that promotion versus just somebody who's been with the company longer, which is also something that really ties back to the development piece as well.
I have a question that just appeared. Are there opportunities for MBA students?
Yeah, so kind of just depending on what you're interested in. The really great thing about Target is, I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, is, you know, we really look for those skill sets, not necessarily your complete background. So, you know, your degree doesn't necessarily have to be in HR if you're going in the HR field. But yeah, just depending on what you're interested in, we look at people who are doing their bachelor's or MBA. It just depends on when you're graduating. You know, if you're about to graduate, then you can go into full-time. If you're looking for an internship within your MBA, you just have to be a year out from graduation from that MBA to qualify. So hopefully that answers that question.
I guess my final question is, why Target values so much starting off in these store leadership positions? Like, as someone progresses through their career at Target, why that is so important to start at that particular place?
Yeah, so if you think about it from a business perspective, stores is the only area that actually makes money. So any other location within our company, like whether it's process driven, you know, we're paying people, but we're not actually making money off of a process. So really working in the stores and being there firsthand and actually running that side of the business, I mean, there's so many skill sets that you learn, especially when it boils down to leadership or problem solving, communication. Like there's just so much that you can learn, but also understanding the value that in the end, it all comes back down to the consumer or the guest. So unless our team is there servicing those consumers or those guests that we have within our store, we're not going to make money, and that's what we're here for. And especially in the retail setting, you know, all of the things that have changed. I mean, we are always every single day seeing several retailers closing or closing stores or maybe even closing completely and moving online, whatever it may be. So really it's important about being flexible within this market. And then, yeah, working in stores, you definitely will have a ton of development personally and professionally, but really that's what it all boils down to is no matter what you do, you need to understand the impacts that it would make in the stores, because at the end of the day, that's what's driving our business. That's the part of the business that actually makes money. So hopefully that makes sense.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I think those are all of our questions. Rochelle, thank you so much for joining us today with our just-in-time online job fair. So thank you again, and if anybody needs any assistance with the application or resume, cover letter, please come see us in Moody Hall 134. Send us your resume at scu.careerplan@stedwards.edu, or give us a call at 512-448-8530. So we're certainly here to help you, and we certainly want to help you succeed, and hopefully that'll be at Target. So, and thank you very much, and if anybody needs us, please reach out.
Thank you. Bye, guys.